Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Shannon from Beauty by Shan, and if you are new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. If you are returning, it's so good to see you again. So in today's video, I'm going to be addressing brows. So today I'm going to be showing you guys how I do my brows. If you have seen some of my makeup tutorials, you'll know that my brow routine is very simple. I just use an eyeshadow palette. You can use any eyeshadow palette with the shade that you prefer. I prefer black instead of brown because I feel like black just goes better with my skin tone. I use a black eyeshadow. I'm going to show you what kind of brush I use to apply the eyeshadow, and then once I've applied the eyeshadow, I just use a similar brush to carve out my brows with concealer. The concealer is definitely optional. If you feel like your brows are fine the way they are after you fill them in, then that's definitely up to you, but I just like a more neater brow. That's why I go in with the extra concealer step. So if you are keen to see how I do my brows, let's jump straight into it. So to fill in my brows, I go in with this angled brow liner, and this I use when I apply the powder. And then next up I go in with this wing liner to carve out my brows with the concealer. So you can see the two brushes are the same. For the eyeshadow, like I said, I use a black eyeshadow, and this is from a NYX palette in the shade Ash. So I'm gonna start off by brushing my brows out with the brush. If you have a spoolie brush, you can use that as well. I really couldn't find mine for this video, so I just used the brush. I'm gently gonna dip my brush into the eyeshadow, and I'm gonna start underlining my brow. So I'm tracing the shape that I want underneath my brow, and I'm going in with very little powder. I like to start off light, and if I desire a darker brow, then I'll go in for more product, but I always start off light because I don't want my brows to end up looking too dark. So when you start off light, you can always build the product up. Once I'm done at the bottom, I trace out the shape that I want on top, and then I'm just gonna start filling it in very lightly. And like I said, if you want a darker brow, you can always go in with more product once you have created the shape that you want. So as I'm filling my brows out, I'm also making sure that I blend them in. So by blending, I mean blending the eyeshadow in with my brow hairs. Then I'm just using the tip of the brush to pull the eyeshadow pigment out to the front of my brows, and you'll see that the front of my brows are much lighter than the back side of it, because naturally our brows start off lighter in front and move darker towards the back. So that's basically the illusion that I want to create here as well. And now I'm basically just making sure that all the hairs are laying the way I want it to, and filling in any blank spots that there might be. I'm just gonna tie my hair up so you can see how I do the other side of my The process here is the same. I'm just going to brush them out, and then I'm going to go in with some powder and start filling them out the same way I did the other side. Once again, please remember that when you do fill your brows out, that the front part should be as light as possible, because you don't want your brows to look unnatural. You want them to look natural, so that is definitely a tip that you need to remember when doing your brows. I'm still using the same technique as I did on the other side, applying shadow, blending it out, checking how that looks, and if I need more shadow, I'll dip my brush in the pan again and go in with some more shadow. Next up, I'm going with my Pro Concealer in High Definition from LA Girl, and this is in the shade Natural Beige, and I'm just going to pump it out once and then apply it to the back of my hand. That's about all I need to carve out my brows. Actually, it's too much, but yeah. So I'm going to dip my brush in the concealer, and then I'm going to start carving out my brows. So as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this step is definitely optional, but I really love my brows looking as neat as possible, and this step also gives more precision to the brow, so I definitely enjoy doing this. But if you are happy with the brows just as you fold them out, then that's also fine. So once I've lined my brows out, then I'm going to go ahead and pull the product down so it's easier to blend. And you can see that I dragged it till the front of my brow, and once I do the other side, you'll see why I did that. So now you'll see that I'm just going to be pulling the product down, and this just makes it easier when I'm going to blend the concealer out. So as you can see, I pulled the concealer to the front of my brow, and now I'm extending it to the other side. This just helps me make sure that my brows are even and that one is not higher than the other. It looks a bit whack now, but once I start blending everything out, you'll see the look come together. If you have watched other brow tutorials, you might have seen that the person who was doing the tutorial might have outlined the top of their brow as well. I don't really like doing that to my brows. I feel like my hand becomes a bit shaky on top, and then I might just mess everything up, so I tend to stay away from that. So with that being said, if you feel like concealing your brows is too much of a task, then you really don't have to do it. I just do it because, like I mentioned, I like the look of a neat brow. So now once again, I'm just dragging that product down to the rest of my eyelid, and then I'm going to go in with a bigger concealer brush, and I'm just going to blend everything out once I've applied the remaining product on my hand. So now I'm just going to go in with this blending brush and blend that excess concealer out on my eyelid. Another tip for blending concealer out on your eyelid is immediately applying setting powder or a pressed powder on top of your eyelid so that the concealer does not start creasing in your eyelid. Then when both my lids are blended out, I'm gonna go to the middle and I'm gonna start blending out there as well so that it looks more natural. Then I'm just gonna keep blending until I'm satisfied with how my brows are looking. And once I'm happy, I'm just gonna go off camera and complete the rest of my makeup. And I am back with my makeup done. I really love this eye. My hair is dry and I am just feeling myself. That's it for this video, guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you learned something new. As always, leave me some love in the comments. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and until my next video, bye.